sweet home for the Indians, where they have an 18-12 record and they've won 16 of their last 22 games. Their opponent tonight, the Washington Nationals, who bring some of the best arms in the National League into Progressive Field, but a struggling offense. Justin Masterson will try to keep the Nats' bats down. Next on Sports Time Ohio. Back home in downtown Cleveland, where tonight the Indians open up a homestand with the first of three against the Washington Nationals. Hi again, everyone. Matt Underwood alongside Rick Manning. Tribe has to be happy to be back home where they are 18-12 on the season. And a Washington Nationals club, it's interesting, both of these teams come into this game tonight not real happy with where they are, but they're not that far out of contention. So that's the good news for both of these clubs tonight. Let's take a look at the pitching matchup. You've got the Indians ace, Justin Masterson, against the left-hander, Gio Gonzalez.
Well, Justin Masterson in his last start pitched a very good ball game. He made one pitch that was not a mistake pitch, but it was hit out of the ballpark for a 3-run home run. It ended up costing the Indians, but he pitches very well in this ballpark, 5-1 at home with a 236 earned run average. He's going to try and make it 6-1 here tonight, but going up against a really tough customer, Gio Gonzalez. I know he's 500 on the year, but look at his numbers against the Indians. 5-0, a .72. He's made 4 starts in Progressive Field, and he is 4-0. That's a left-hander with an explosive fastball in the mid-90s, an excellent curveball, and all his numbers come against the Indians when he was with the Oakland A's.
Yeah, and keep this in mind, too. With those numbers with regards to Gonzalez against the Indians, the lineup he will face tonight, a collective combined .318 batting average against him. We're coming back with all of the play-by-play action tonight. Interleague ball tonight here at Progressive Field as Justin Masterson try to dominate the Nats from the National League and see if the Indians' bats can get rolling at home. The play-by-play is next. And we welcome you into Progressive Field tonight, where the Indians take on the Washington Nationals. Justin Masterson on the hill warming up for the Tribe. And let's get a look at the starting lineup he will face for Davy Johnson's ball club tonight. Denard Span, the longtime Minnesota Twin, will lead it off, followed by Roger Bernardina. Ryan Zimmerman will bat third. Adam LaRoche in the cleanup spot. Jason Worth hitting fifth. Ian Desmond, a career-high 15-game hitting streak, will bat sixth. Then Chad Tracy, Kurt Suzuki, and Steve Lombardozzi.
It'll be the 15th start for Justin Masterson this year. He is 8-5. In his last start, he pitched well against Detroit, but he gave up that one home run ball. You remember that ball down and in where you thought it was going to bounce, and that was in the bottom of the sixth, and it cost him. He's given up 5 home runs in his last 4 starts.
Here's the wind on tonight's first pitch. It's in there for a called strike. Grounded towards first base. Nick Swisher grabs it. He'll go to the bag himself, one away.
Let's check out the Kia Indians defense behind Masterson tonight, rated 10th in the league. They have made 36 errors. It's Brantley in left, Bourne in center, Stubbs in right. Reynolds at third, Aviles at short. Kipnis is at second, Swisher at first with Carlos Santana behind the plate.
Brian Knight calling the balls and strikes. Dan Isonia is at first. Mark Carlson at second. Jerry Davis, your crew chief, is at third. Roger Bernardina comes in batting just .194. Lines one to left field, and Michael Brantley grabs it for out number 2. Rick, let's take a look at our keys to tonight's ball game. Don't wake up the Nats offense on the road. They have really struggled. I mean, this is an offensive club that has had its problems, but on the road even more so. And we'll see if they can solve Gio Gonzalez. He is perfect in his career against Cleveland.
Well, the Nats have won 4 of the last 5, and they've averaged 5 runs a game. If they get offense, I think like a lot of clubs, they have really good pitching, and if you can get some offense for them, they're going to find a way to win.
Well, by my count, I went back and looked through just the day by day. When they score 5 or more, they've won 9 of their last 10.
There you go.
Getting to 5 runs has been an issue for them. There's our Firestone Complete Auto Care Extra Mile Index. On the road, you see the Nationals only better than the Cubs and the Mariners. Fouled at the plate by Zimmerman.
Yeah, no matter how good your pitching is, it's not good enough to win when you're only getting 3 runs there, or just a little above.
Ryan Zimmerman, another one of those building blocks for Washington. He was the 4th overall pick in the 2005 draft, and he lines one into right field for a base hit. Zimmerman now has 11 hits in his last 42 at-bats.
Well, he puts a good swing on it from a right-hander. Masterson, the reason why the ball was elevated, belled high, made it much easier for him. You see the high leg kick, stayed on it nicely, drives it to right field for a base knock.
Brings up Adam LaRoche.
Masterson this year, right-handed hitters just 190 against him.
And LaRoche looks at a strike. LaRoche, it's hard to believe his numbers in terms of batting average as low as it is, because consistently he has been on quite a tear. LaRoche had a 9-game hitting streak snapped yesterday. He had a 16-game hitting streak in May. He's hit in 33 of his last 37 games.
Well, that tells you he's getting a base hit a day, maybe.
A lot of 1-for-4s in there.
You know, sometimes those streaks, guys double, triple up in there, and they put together a 400 string. It sounds like a lot of 1-for-4s is right. But this guy can generate some bat speed, and he's got very good power.
Down on the count, 1-2. And that's out of play to the left. He's only played 3 games against the Tribe, but making the most of that. He's second on the team in home runs to Bryce Harper, who, as we mentioned in our pregame show tonight, on the DL. He struck him out, and the inning is over. LaRoche went too far. No runs, a hit, a man left. The Indians are coming to bat. Score, bottom of the first inning. Indian starting lineup brought to you by Progressive, making it easy to bundle your home and car insurance. Michael Bourne will lead it off, followed by Jason Kipnis, who's swinging a hot bat right now. He's hit in 7 straight games. Nick Swisher will hit third, then Ryan Rayburn batting cleanup, followed by Carlos Santana and Mark Reynolds. Michael Brantley hitting 7th, Mike Aviles 8th, and Drew Stubbs will hit 9th.
Gio Gonzalez on the mound, making his 14th start, just a 3-3 record. It doesn't get a lot of run support. You can see opponent batting average just .206, giving up 7 homers in his 77 2/3 innings, and his numbers against the Indians are, they're just brilliant.
His first pitch of the game is in there for a strike to Michael Bourne.
He's coming off a start against the Minnesota Twins on June 8th, where he was the loser. He went 6 innings, gave up 5 hits, and allowed 3 runs.
Bourne taps it right back to the mound. Gonzalez with a nice play, and he throws him out 1 down.
Let's check out the Nats defense. They are rated last in the league. They have made 49 errors as a team. Bernardina is in left, Span in center, Worth in right. Tracy at third, Desmond at short, Lombardozzi at second, LaRoche is at first, Suzuki behind the plate.
Jason Kipnis takes down low, ball 1. Jason is batting .393 during his 7-game hit streak.
Yeah, left-handers on the year are just .188 against Gonzalez, so it's going to be a battle all day long, and they have Bourne, Kipnis, and Brantley in there.
No, Jason has held his own against lefties, hitting .275 on the year. Looped foul the other way, out of play. Gonzalez, a special year last season with Oakland, going 21-8, a .289 ERA. Finished third in the Cy Young Award voting in the National League. R.A. Dickey was the Cy Young winner last year. The last D.C.-based left-hander to win 20 games was Earl Whitehill in 1933.
Got to go back a ways, huh?
Kipnis lines one into left field. That's a base hit. Might be in the alley. It'll split him. It'll go to the wall. Kipnis on his way to second base. He's in there easily with a one-out double. His 14th two-bagger of the year.
And you see, that's what the left-handers try and do is concentrate. It looked like it was a fastball up a little bit. Jason didn't try to pull a ball. He shoots it the other way. They wanted to run it in on him, and it creeped out over the plate a little bit, but there's a very good swing right there. Again, Gonzalez got it up, but Kipnis hits it hard enough to get his 14th double. So a one-out double for the Tribe and a chance to score here in the first.
And Kipnis has now hit in 8 straight games. That will bring up Nick Swisher. Swisher has batted .267 at home. And he's batting .273 from the right side of the plate on the year. Takes again, it's outside 2-0. High fly ball, center field. Denard Span backpedaling. He'll make the catch, and Kipnis will head for third. The throw is not in time. It was very close, but Kipnis able to get in there ahead of the tag. And there are 2 down now.
Well, it's awfully close, and when you're Kipnis, you know you've got to get there because you're already in scoring position. Denard Span, they know because he played in Minnesota. It was a good throw, awfully close. If that ball would have been down a little bit, they might have had him, but that bounce comes up. Tracy has to wait to get it before he can apply the tag. Kipnis just does get in.
And so Ryan Rayburn will take aim now against Gio Gonzalez, a guy he has some familiarity with and success. Rayburn 6 for 11 in his career against Gonzalez with 2 home runs. The 0-1. Down low. The Indians have really thrived in these situations on the year with runners in scoring position and 2 outs. They've batted .297 as a team. That's second best in all the major leagues, and Ryan Rayburn a big reason why. He'll have to come from behind. Down on the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes against Gonzalez. Swung on and missed. He struck him out. No runs ahead, a man left. No score after 1. brought to you by McDonald's, now introducing 3 exciting new Quarter Pounders, and by Kia. Second inning, no score. It will be Jason Worth to lead off for Washington. Worth just getting back off the disabled list in the 8 games he's played since he's come back. He's gone 7 for 31, but this is a Washington team that hasn't had their, what they consider their regular lineup together since April 14th.
Yeah, they've only had it about 8-10 times all year long. What Davey Johnson would like to put out there and what they consider their everyday lineup. It's been a battle for them, and that's why they've struggled.
The 0-2 pitch to Worth, fouled out of play.
I mean, he's a big dollar guy, Jason Worth. They signed him, from the Phillies a few years ago, and he had injuries. He had wrist problems last year, broke it, missed some time, and it's just been one of those things.
Masterson with the 0-2. Low and away.
The talk, they had a terrific year last year, almost a year to dream of. Everybody jumping on the bandwagon, and they finally came around, and they expected them to do everything the same this year.
Struck him out. Worth couldn't hold up, just as LaRoche couldn't to end the first inning, and that's his second straight strikeout. Tonight's injury report brought to you by Elk & Elk Serious Lawyers for serious injuries. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO. Here's what we're talking about. Bryce Harper, he's the key guy in that list. Steven Strasburg, of course, their ace. Looking to get him back on Sunday against the Indians. Ian Desmond. Swung on and missed. This guy has hit in 15 consecutive games.
And he's played in every game for him this year. He's been their rock out there at shortstop.
Swing and a miss.
Tell you, Masterson, the first time through, he's 6 for 6 first pitch strikes. That was the first swing and miss. And if he proves that, they're not going to want to let him get to that slider, because you saw the first 2 check swing strikeouts. They're going to say, we're going to try and get him earlier.
He's powering his 4-seamer right by him here at the outset. That one took off a little bit. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
And not much of a history. Masterson pitched 1 time against the Nats, and that was back in 2009 when he was with the Red Sox out of the bullpen. So this is almost like facing these guys for the first time.
Yeah. The right-hander's 2-2. Swung on and missed. He struck him out.
3 straight Ks.
Bryce Harper, in many ways the face of the Nationals franchise, the young phenom.
Watch his face here, right into the scoreboard.
It's almost like he lost track of where he was on the warning track.
Yeah, that very well could be. And the next thing you know, you run right into that wall, and he kissed that wall hard. He hurt his knee. You can see he's bleeding there. Had about 10 or 12 stitches. I mean, you got to love the way that kid plays the game of baseball. He plays it the way it's supposed to be played, hard, and at his age, you learn. I mean, those are things you learn from right there.
The 1-1 pitch. Tracy fouls it back. Chad Tracy is primarily a pinch hitter for Washington. 21 out of his last 31 plate appearances have been as a pinch hitter. And he strikes out. Boy, Justin Masterson has fanned 4 straight Nationals hitters, and we are scoreless middle of the second. Back here at Progressive Field on a Friday night, Indians and the Nationals. Carlos Santana, Mark Reynolds, Michael Brantley due up for the Tribe. Carlos Santana comes in hitting .283 for the year. He's hit in 5 consecutive games.
Yeah, he's been swinging it much better lately.
Gonzalez with the 0-1 pitch. Down low. To follow up on the point you were making a little while ago about Washington and the year they had a season ago. I mean, to win 98 games in a year, and that puts you in some pretty rare company.
Sure it does.
You get almost to 100 wins. And the job Davey Johnson did, obviously tremendous, named manager of the year.
Well, and then, they shut down Strasburg after he had, about 160 innings.
And
that was the big...
that's what drew everyone's attention.
Right.
And the media and all the second-guessers.
Well, they had that in place, for before the year started, supposedly. But you win that many games, you shut down your guy, and you say, hey, can't you bring him back in the playoffs just to get him going? And you're thinking, well, maybe we could, but we'll get back there again. You just don't know. I mean, that's a tough call on their part. I mean, they're worried about the future, obviously, with that kid. We're going to get a chance to see him on Sunday, as a matter of fact. He pitched his second Major League game right here a few years ago.
Swing and a miss as Santana strikes out. One down here in the second. Let's see what the Indians have up their sleeve facing Gio Gonzalez tonight. Here's Katie with him.
Well, Matt, Brad Mills told me when Gio Gonzalez is on, he's nails because his stuff is so good, but he's not untouchable. You can get him rattled by building innings with base on balls. Get a walk, get a hit, kind of keep the line moving mentality. The key, though, is to be ready for every pitch to swing at when you're up there because you'll see some good ones, but also be patient against this guy.
All right, thanks, Katie. We'll see what Mark Reynolds can do here. 0-1 the count. And Reynolds takes a strike to count 1-2.
As with any good pitcher, when you got a guy like Gonzalez, you look early in that count for the first pitch fastball if you can get it and be aggressive with it. And, he can throw that curveball anytime he wants, it seems like, for a strike.
Reynolds chases, and he strikes out. So Gonzalez has now struck out 3 in a row.
Yeah.
And Masterson has fanned 4 straight for the Indians.
Well, he sees what Masterson's doing, so he's got to follow him.
In tonight's game, we're participating in the Home Run Challenge. Every home run hit tonight raises $12,000 for prostate cancer research. You can make a pledge by going online to homerunchallenge.org. Michael Brantley batting .289 on the year. Takes inside, 1 ball or 2 balls, no strikes. Your point about Washington last year with Strasburg, your 98 wins. Well, we'll be back here again. It reminds me of a story I heard years ago. Marcus Allen gets to the Super Bowl. It's either his first or second year. Late in the game, Oakland's got a big lead. He takes himself out of the game, so Greg Pruitt, who'd been in the league for a long time, was finishing out his career, obviously with the Browns many years, so he could get a chance to play in the Super Bowl. And Marcus Allen said, I figured, heck, I'm going to be back here again. He said, had I known that was my only shot, I probably would have never come out of the game.
That's right. You really never know in sports.
Brantley with a liner to left. Bernardina had a late break, but he makes the catch. And the side is retired. 2 complete, no score. Top of the 3rd inning here at Progressive Field, no score. Kurt Suzuki leading off for Washington. Justin Masterson has struck out the last 4 Washington hitters in a row. And now the struggling Suzuki steps in, 0 for his last 11.
Well, and he has 11 career at-bats against Justin Masterson when he was with Oakland. The player with the most is Denard Span, who's leading off today with 28, now 29.
Due up 3rd this inning. Up high 2-0. Suzuki had a 10-game hitting streak in May, but for the most part, he has had a tough time at the plate. Just 4 hits in his last 37 at-bats. But Masterson has missed on 3 straight. Bullseye, 3-1. Well, he's able to lay off, and he draws a walk first. Free pass issued by Masterson. And Washington gets their leadoff man aboard.
Well, swing for the fences with the new Home Run Derby mobile game from MLB.com. It's available on iPhone and iPad. You can download free today.
Steve Lombardozzi is a guy that likes to get after it early in the count. 7 of his 30 hits this year have come on the first pitch. He takes, it's down low, ball 1. Two balls, no strikes, and out goes Santana.
I don't know what happened. He was like lights out the first 2 innings throwing strikes, and then all of a sudden, maybe he lost that release point for a second. That's the one thing that the Indians pitching has been doing much more in the last 20, 25 games is walking guys. They have 237 as a team, which is the third most, the third most in the league. And well, those free passes, you got to.
Well, Justin, for the most part, has done a good job, but all of a sudden his walk count's starting to creep up there, too.
I mean, he's logged as many innings as anybody, 95 coming in. He has his strikeouts up there, 95, almost a strikeout an inning. He's been the workhorse, but you just got to make them hit their way on.
Right back to him. It gets through and all the way into center field. So Steve Lombardozzi punched one right through the middle of the infield. And the Nats have their first two aboard here in the third inning.
Now, 2 starts ago, if you remember, when Justin was in New York, he took that ball right back up the middle off the forearm, or up off the bicep, I should say. He had a nice bruise on there for the last 10 days. This ball goes right back up the middle, gets through. He was the only one able to get to it or knock it down. Couldn't do it. The second hit for the Nats.
So 2 on, nobody out for Denard Span, who grounded out his first time up. He squares, bunts it right in front of the plate. Santana's only play is at first. He throws out Span. They would have had Suzuki at third, but Reynolds was already charging in on the bunt. So with 1 away, Roger Bernardina will be the batter, and he lined out to left field his first time up. To give you an idea of how Bernardina has been struggling this year, he's raised his batting average 73 points in his last 13 games.
No, you can't.
He was at 121. Popped up foul down the line. I think it's foul. Yes, it is. It was hugging the line. He almost looked at the swing the way he swung it. There's no way that ball could stay fair, but it was close. 0-2 the count.
Well, you see with 1 out and this guy struggling to hit, they keep their middle infielders back here, not trying to cut the run off at the plate. And maybe that's one reason why you don't want to see a little bloop go over the infield. At the corners, they're even with the bag, but up the middle, they're playing them back. You know, Masterson, if he's on his game, he's a ground ball pitcher anyway.
The 0-2 pitch. Down low. He had 7 swings and misses through the first 2 innings.
Yeah, that's a lot.
So he could use another one of those right here as well. Fastball misses inside. It's 2-2. Suzuki, the runner, at third. Lombardozzi at second. And he missed up high. So from 0-2 to 3-2. And Ryan Zimmerman waiting on deck. Wow, close, but he missed, and it's ball 4. The bases are loaded. He's walked 2 in the inning, 39 on the year. That's second most in the American League now.
Check this out on our Nissan pitch tracker. It's down. It's low, out of the zone. He went from 0-2 to a free pass, and now you're getting into the middle part of the lineup. So you're right. The 8-9, and now the 2 hitters after the sacrifice. And the guy in the number 2 hole was struggling, so he's going to have to work hard now to get out of it.
Ryan Zimmerman lined a single to right field his first time up. And a fastball finds the zone for strike one.
This year with runners in scoring position, Justin giving up a .266 batting average. That's more than with nobody on or with just runners on first.
Well, and this guy has been very good in those situations. Zimmerman hitting .389 with runners in scoring position. And, of course, they're loaded right now with one out. Masterson could use a comebacker. Instead, it gets away from Santana, and the Nationals will take the lead on a wild pitch. Suzuki comes home, 1-0 Washington.
Just a slider that gets away. I mean, there's not much you can do there, but Santana tried to put a body on it, deflected off his glove and his body, goes back to the screen, so Washington on the board.
Swing and a miss, evens the count 2-2. Now the 2-2 pitch, and a good one. Slider dropped in there for strike three called. Fifth strikeout for Masterson. 2 down here in the inning.
Well, that's where you wanted that slider before. That one in the dirt that allowed the run. It's a nasty one, and it starts right there, and it just locks him up. It's right there. He was going to make sure he didn't throw that one in the dirt. So they get the second out. And a chance to get out of it now, just giving up the one.
Adam LaRoche struck out his first time up, and a swing and a miss. Broke his bat. Swisher will flip it to Masterson, and the inning is over. But the Nationals take the lead on a wild pitch, 1-0 middle of the third. Just a reminder as you enjoy a cold one to stay tuned later in the game for Miller Time. Brought to you by Miller Lite. Bottom of the third, Mike Aviles, Drew Stubbs, and Michael Bourne due up for the Indians. Mike Aviles batting .272 on the year. He's hit in 3 straight games. Left-hander Gio Gonzalez, you notice he works on the extreme third base side of the rubber. He's barely in contact with the pitching rubber.
Yeah, right at the edge.
Down low. Mike's had some success, 4 for 13 against this lefty. Bang that breaking ball off of his own foot. 1-2 remains the count. Popped him up foul ground. And that will find the seats. So the count stays 1 ball and 2 strikes. Gonzalez really came into his own in 2010 with Oakland when he went 15-9 with a .323 earned run average in 33 starts for the A's. Logged 200 innings that year, and then came back with another solid season in 2011 when he went 16-12. A little better ERA at .312 and again 202 innings. And then last year he blossomed in Washington, a 21-game winner.
Yeah, and since joining the Nationals last year, he's 13-5 in 24 road starts. That trails only David Price's 14 road wins in that time. That's pretty impressive out on the road.
Yeah. Back out of play. Remember, Gonzalez is a guy who has been highly thought of ever since the White Sox drafted him in 2004. But he's been involved in some pretty big-name trades.
Right.
Struck him out. Boy, he tied him up with a fastball up and in. And that's 4 strikeouts now for the Washington left-hander. Our stat of the game brought to you by your Northern Ohio Buick dealers. And this is updated now in 30 innings against the Tribe. Gio Gonzalez, longest active scoreless inning streak against the Indians, now at 30. Chicago traded Gonzalez originally to Philadelphia in 2005 for Jim Thome. Then he went back to the White Sox for Freddie Garcia. Swung on and missed. And he went to Oakland from Chicago in exchange for Nick Swisher. The key guy in the deal that brought him here was Tommy Malone, who's now with the A's.
Oh, nice sequence there.
2 down, and that's 5 strikeouts now for Gonzalez. And we'll take a look at tonight's trivia question brought to you by AT&T. And the only player in Indians history to hit 2 extra inning home runs in the same game.
Wow.
We'll have the answer coming up later on. Michael Bourne, a tapper, back to the mound his first time up. Just wide of the mark. It's 2-0. 2 balls and a strike. Big bouncer to first. LaRoche will take it himself. Indians go 1, 2, 3. Gonzalez has retired 8 in a row. We'll go to the 4th inning with a 1-0 score. Washington in front. Jason Worth, Ian Desmond, and Chad Tracy due up for the Nationals. Jason Worth struck out his first time up, and he waves at a first pitch slider from Masterson. Missed inside with a fastball, and it's 1-1.
Well, he's got both sides of the plate now for Worth. He got him with the slider away and that little 2-seamer in. This can't be a fun guy to face when you haven't been playing a lot and you're not locked in as a right-handed hitter. You know what I mean? It's a tough AB.
6 strikeouts for Masterson. Well, you talked about not seeing Masterson. The Indians haven't seen a lot of these Nationals hitters. So, Katie, what's the game plan?
Well, Matt, I spoke with Indians pitching coach Mickey Callaway. He told me the advanced scouting report showed these Nationals very patient at the plate. But on video, within the last 5 days, they've noticed they're much more aggressive. The key for Masterson, go out, execute his game plan, but throw quality strikes.
I told you, they're averaging 5 runs a game in their last 5 games. And, you know, sometimes you have to get aggressive. When you're patient, you can't let a guy like Masterson get you down to count 0-2, 1-2 with his stuff. And, you know, the second time through, I thought they would be aggressive. He's been his own worst enemy tonight with the walks. They have one base hit in that inning, the 3rd inning. Sacrifice, and then a wild pitch is how they scored. They didn't have to hit to get it in.
This guy's hit a lot. 15 straight he's collected a hit in. And he's hit .404 during his hitting streak. So he's had a few multi-hit affairs. That's the longest current hit streak in baseball. Missed inside, 2-2. Ian Desmond, earlier in his career, had a chance to play for Frank Robinson. And Robinson had some really flattering things to say about this young man. Flattering because of Frank Robinson's status in the game as a Hall of Famer. He said this of Ian Desmond, quote, "His instincts are better than some guys I've seen play the game for 20 years. He doesn't seem overwhelmed by the situation. He doesn't panic. And when you ask him a question, he gives you a very quick, sound answer. He doesn't stare at you like, let me think about that."
Yeah.
Draws a walk here. Third issued by Masterson.
Well, Frank's one of those guys, you know, he loves guys that play the game, and they're students of the game, and they know the game. Just play hard, and you will never have a problem with him.
He probably doesn't want or care to have players that he's got to teach them every day things,
no,
right?
He's one of those guys, you know, he was such a great player, such a talented player.
Chopped foul off the plate.
But having a chance to play for Frank, I mean, you know, he demanded, you know, hustle, respect of the game, and you get out there and you play hard. If you did that, you didn't have a problem with him. But he would always want to know what you're thinking. If you're a young player, to teach you along and see where your mind is coming from. And if you could answer his questions right, you're fine.
Popped him up on the infield. Reynolds makes the play, 2 down. Take a look at our AT&T UVerse Rewind. Justin Masterson struck out 4 Nationals hitters in a row. And he had a pretty good slider going early. Maybe got him to chase some pitches out of the zone. He locked up Worth here. That's the second called third strike. 2 down in the inning, Kurt Suzuki. Suzuki walked to start the third, and he came around to score the game's only run on a wild pitch. Suzuki, 4 hits in his last 37 at-bats. One and one to count.
Do I see those midges around?
Be a few of them, I'm sure. 1-1 pitch in there for a strike.
That's number 9 for Justin with 0-2, 1-2 count so far tonight.
Desmond was dancing a little bit there at first, and Masterson just keeping him close. He has 6 steals on the year. Fouled over toward the Indians' dugout. So Suzuki trying to stay alive here. Swing and a foul tip held onto by Santana, and the inning is over. Suzuki, he's arguing the ball was in the dirt. Home plate umpire Brian Knight says no, the inning is over.
Giveaways will be tomorrow night against Washington. The first 10,000 fans will receive a jersey of Tribe second baseman Jason Kipnis. It's presented by KeyBank. Log on to Indians.com for your tickets.
Let's go back and take a look at the strikeout that ended the inning. Davey Johnson came out and argued with home plate umpire Brian Knight. They contended the ball hit the dirt.
Well, again, I think it was because his hitter said something is why he came out. It was legit. Santana caught the ball before it hit the dirt. It was close, but that ball did not hit the dirt first. You know, almost anytime your manager, you see your player arguing, you got to get out there so it doesn't cost him anything or get him ejected.
Jason Kipnis doubled in the first. He's hit in 8 straight games now for the Tribe. The only base runner they've had, though.
Yeah, he put a good swing on a ball his first at-bat. Fastball, he wanted to run inside on him, and he didn't quite get it there, and he spanked it to left.
Right back up the middle. Desmond fires it over, and that's out number 1. Not sure if Gonzalez might have gotten a piece of that, but irregardless, the Indians are having a tough time getting anything going against Gonzalez. As Nick Swisher comes to the plate here in the 4th inning, he spent some time with fans before the ball game, signing shirts and handing out Brohio shirts. Nick flied to center his first time up. Two and 0 the count here. Popped him up. Lombardozzi out. So is the second baseman, or I should say the first baseman, LaRoche, but it was Lombardozzi who got there to make the catch, and that is out number 2.
Basically, that's the only guy that could get there. Lombardozzi, he's coming in, and he's got the angle. First baseman, LaRoche, you're going with your back to the outfield, or to the home plate, and the outfielder coming in wasn't going to get there.
Ryan Rayburn struck out his first time up. One ball and one strike. There's a long fly ball to deep right field. Worth is back looking up. It is gone to Souvenir City. Ryan Rayburn, home run number 8, ties the game at 1. So Rayburn, who had great career numbers against Gio Gonzalez, gets the start in the cleanup hole tonight, and it pays off handsomely with a home run to tie the game. His 3rd career round tripper off Gonzalez.
Well, that you're not going to see a prettier swing than this right here. It's a fastball away that he just stayed on. He didn't try to pull it. He let it track deep into the zone and shoots it out to right center field. And, I mean, that ball got out of here in a hurry. Got a fastball, didn't try to pull it, and he ties the game up. Good swing. See, that's the thing there, I guess. If you're right-handed, you want to look at it. If you get the fastball, shoot him the other way. His curveball's been spectacular tonight. It's got great bite to it. So, I mean, it's going to be tough to hit that pitch. But that was a good swing.
Now the 2-0 pitch. In there for a strike. Now Gonzalez, the 2-1 pitch. Spun him out of the way. 8th home run allowed by Gonzalez this year, so he's done a very good job of keeping the ball in the park. Ground ball in the hole. Nice backhanded stop by Desmond. The throw, not in time. Santana beats it out for an infield single, but what an effort by Desmond. Showing you why he's one of the top defensive shortstops in the National League. A 46-game errorless streak coming in.
Yeah, watch how quickly he gets rid of it. And it's in the hole. He has to get rid of it that quickly. He just couldn't get anything on it. It's great effort. A nice play, but Santana's going to get an infield single. So back-to-back hits now with 2 outs. And that's what the Indians have done so well this year. When you look at 2-out offense, they have scored 139 runs this year with 2 outs compared to Washington's 83. They've had 32 home runs. And right around the 300 mark with runners in scoring position.
Reynolds fouls one right back. Boy, he had a good pitch. He was on it, but he shoots it right back. Gonzalez out of the stretch for the first time since the first inning. The 0-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. Ryan Rayburn. His 8th home run of the year, his 3rd off Gio Gonzalez, has tied the game at 1. The wireless receiver only from AT Uverse. Rethink possible. And by your local Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places. Beautiful evening here on the lakefront with the Tribe and the Nationals tied at 1. 5th inning. It will be Steve Lombardozzi, Denard Span, and Roger Bernardina for the Nats. Justin Masterson, 67 pitches, 43 for strikes. Weekly tap towards second base, and Kipnis throws him out, one away. Right now on FoxSportsOhio.com, will Alex Len be the first Cavaliers pick in the draft? Is Josh Gordon's suspension worse than fans realize? And the story of two very courageous Toledo athletes. Get complete coverage of all today's action involving Ohio sports on FoxSportsOhio.com. Denard Span is 0 for 2. Technically 0 for 1. He had a sacrifice bunt in the third. That was the only inning in which Washington has scored, and it started with a leadoff walk to the 8-hitter. Then Steve Lombardozzi just bounced one right through the middle of the infield. Span bunted the runners over, then a walk to Bernardina, loaded him up. And a wild pitch got the only run home for Washington. Span a swing and a foul tip, 2-1.
This is the second center fielder in that has gone from Minnesota to the National League. Ben Revere also over in Philadelphia we got to see earlier this year. He was out in Minnesota. He was playing right last year while Span was in center. So he was ended up traded to Washington.
He's in a good spot here, 3-1. And a strike called. A full count. The payoff pitch. Bang foul. Span has hit 100 points lower on the road than he has at home this year. In D.C., he's batting .317. Outside of our nation's capital, he's hit just .213 on the year.
The politician. He hits in Washington.
Well, he draws a one-out walk here, and that's been a problem for Masterson tonight. That's 4.
Well, get your tickets early. Save on tomorrow night. They have fireworks following tomorrow's game, as well as tonight they do. Tomorrow's presented by Sugardale, and the post-game show will be set to the music of AC/DC. So log on to Indians.com. That is already the 5th 4-walk game for Justin this year. But this is a guy that will run. That's why that free pass, you're going to have to pay attention to him. I mean, he only has 6 on the year. Been caught 3 times. But with the way their offense is going, it's a low-scoring game. I could see some action happening here.
Popped him up. The infielder, Jason Kipnis, right side, makes the catch, 2 down. So Bernardina's woes continue at the plate. And it will bring up Ryan Zimmerman, who is 1 for 2 on the night. Quick throw over, and it was a very close play. They had Span leaning towards second base. Called safe by Dan Isanya on a close tag by Nick Swisher.
It looked like Swisher tried to drop it down and then get a call his way. Let's see. Then the tag comes. He's trying to take off out of there. It looked like he did get the hand back, but it was close.
Pitch number 80 on the night for Masterson right here. Runner goes inside. Santana throws down, not in time. That's a tough pitch to throw on for Masterson, who might have been hit by Zimmerman. I think that's what Terry Francona's arguing was there.
He was getting out of the way of the ball. He has right to the batter's box. That ball almost came in. He didn't go out over home plate.
His bat hit Santana right in the face.
But you know what?
Watch the barrel of the bat right there. Oh.
Well, it gets under the mask, but he is in the batter's box. That wasn't interference. He was getting out of the way of the ball. He is entitled to that batter. You see where he kept his balance. And that's hard to call interference right there when he's battling to get out of the way from the ball. It was a tough pitch for Santana to throw on anyway. You see him shake that right hand. That was just a weird pitch. He had to jump back to get out of the way or he would have been drilled. And it was tough for Santana to throw, but he was in the batter's box.
3-0 count, by the way, for Zimmerman with Adam LaRoche waiting on deck. Gets a strike. I don't think I've ever seen the barrel of a bat, though, catch a catcher right under the mask like that. It's just bizarre, as you said, just kind of a weird.
It's a weird play.
3-1. Full count. Crowd trying to make some noise. And the payoff pitch, swing and a miss. He struck him out. Masterson gets his 8th strikeout of the night, his 100th on the season. Justin Masterson and Carlos Santana with a little heart-to-heart in the dugout. 1-1 our score. Going to the bottom of the 5th inning. Bottom third of the Indians ordered to up here. Michael Brantley, Mike Aviles, and Drew Stubbs. Gio Gonzalez has been clipping right along. That's his 65th pitch of the night. 40 out of his 65 have been strikes. He has fanned a half dozen, has not walked a batter. Down low with it, 1-1. 2-1 the count. The left-hander delivers. And Brantley a little tardy. 2-2. Might have been trying to take that the other way. That got a piece of the catcher. Suzuki might have nailed him down around the foot.
Yeah, came back inside to try and run a fastball in there and caught him on the inside of the right knee. You know, and I remember when this guy was with Oakland. He's not a big guy.
No.
You know, to be back there and take that pounding that catchers do every day. And he used to play every day out in Oakland.
Suzuki's listed at 5'11", 233 pounds.
233.
I don't think he's that big.
That's including his gear. It's not even that much.
Michael lifts one in the air. Out goes the shortstop Desmond. One down here in the fifth. Here's our great clip of the game from Wednesday. Down in Texas, Mike Aviles going deep. Great clips. It's going to be great. That was a 2-run homer, and it helped get the Indians offense rolling as the Tribe would take 2 of 3 to win the series from the Rangers. Now Aviles, strikeout victim his first time up, looks at a ball outside. Going the other way, but right at the second baseman. Lombardozzi will throw him out, 2 down. Well, Indians fans from Mentor rode the Fan Express to tonight's game here at Progressive Field. And for more information on how you can get on board, call 216-420-HITS or log on to Indians.com/groups. 2 away for Drew Stubbs. Called out on strikes his first time up. Out of play to the right. Well, to this point, Rick, this has been one of those games where, you know, on paper you're looking at it coming in. Good pitching matchup. Could be a pitcher's duel. A lot of times when we say that, it's 8-9. You know, it's one of those deals where.
Yeah.
But this one has.
They're living up
been
to
true
it.
to form.
Well, Gonzalez undefeated in this ballpark. He started 4 games here, and he's 4-0 with a ERA of under 7 in this ballpark. 5-0 in his career in 6 starts. Masterson has pitched well. He's 5-1 this year. So, I mean, this is exactly what you expect. The Indians get their run on a home run by Rayburn, a solo home run, and Masterson gave them a run in that one inning. It's unfortunate, but he did. So they're going to be battling for a while until they get to their pitch counts, I think.
Stubbs strikes out. That's 7 for Gonzalez. 8 for Masterson. That game is tied at 1-5.
Well, bring the whole family out to the ballpark on Sunday. It's Kids Fun Day every Sunday home game here at Progressive Field. Plenty of activities for them. Kids also get to run the bases after the ball game. So log on to Indians.com for the tickets.
Well, we're rolling now to the 6th inning of a 1-1 ball game where both pitchers have been in command. Adam LaRoche, Jason Worth, and Ian Desmond due up for the Nats, as Justin Masterson will begin the inning. 83 pitches under his belt, 51 of those for strikes. And a pitch sails wide of the mark, ball 1. Over the outside corner. 1-1 to count. LaRoche struck out in the first, grounded to first base in the third. Goes the other way, out of play. 1-2 the count. Indians employ the 3-man shift on the right side of the infield. And with 2 strikes, Reynolds now moves over closer toward the bag at second. Back out of play. It stays 1-2. And the 1-2 delivery out of play. LaRoche stepping out, wants a little extra time. Again, the 1-2 pitch. Close, but didn't get the call.
Boy, a tough one to lay off when you're a hitter, too.
Hoping to get that to leak back over the inside corner.
I mean, it's in there, but he couldn't hit it. That's why he didn't swing, but it's awfully close. That's just a tough one to take.
Pulled the string, and that is strikeout number 9 for Justin Masterson.
Number 9, and it's coming. It's a slider after that good fastball down and in. Oh, man, I'll tell you what. Those last 2 pitches right there. After he took the one that could have been a strike, throws that one that is a strike down and away. That's tough pitching. Strikeout number 9 for Justin.
Now Jason Worth, who has struck out twice. In fact, the 3, 4, and 5 hitters have all struck out twice tonight for Washington. Zimmerman's gone down twice. LaRoche twice. Worth already twice.
Well, and each pitcher has a strikeout, at least one in every inning.
Oh, another good slider. 0-2 the count.
Worth may want to go up there left-handed next time. I mean, he's had no luck.
Went down swinging his first time up, looking in the 4th. High heater lays off. 1-2. Wants the fastball in. Worth able to lay off a 2-seamer.
Now, up until those last 2 balls, he had 12 pitches, 9 strikes.
Right back to him. Masterson flips to Swisher. 2 down here in the 6th. Our in-game recap brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. The only run for Washington with the bases loaded in the third inning. Kurt Suzuki scampered home on that wild pitch. That was the only run they would get. And then Ryan Rayburn with a solo blast to right field off Gonzalez with 2 outs in the fourth inning, accounting for the Tribe's only run. And that is where we stand. 2 outs here in the sixth inning. And Ian Desmond, the batter, has struck out and walked. In tight, able to lay off. There's another good slider. Boy, he's had a very good slider, whether it's for a put-away pitch, whether it's just a get-me-over pitch. He's had it whenever he's really needed it here tonight.
Yeah, he's over 60%, probably about 63% strikes.
The sad thing is, it was that slider that's cost him the only run of the game, the one he yanked in the dirt.
Right.
That allowed Suzuki to score back in the third.
Well, he had that third inning where he had the 2 walks and the wild pitch. And if you think about it, in his last start in Detroit, it was the slider.
Swung on and missed. His 10th strikeout of the night. He gets Desmond to go down hacking, and the Nationals go 1-2-3. One, bottom of the sixth inning. Top of the order for the Indians. We'll see third time through if they've got any answers for Gio Gonzalez. He has been terrific thus far, giving up just 3 hits. That's the only base runners the Indians have had. A double by Kipnis in the first, the solo homer by Ryan Rayburn in the fourth, and an infield hit by Santana. And now Bourne sends one to center field where Denard Span gallops under it. And there is out number 1. Let's go back to the Hyundai Studios right now for an in-game update with Al Pulaski.
Hey, Matt and Rick, let's go to Baltimore where the Orioles are hosting the Red Sox, and Chris Davis here in the second inning launches one. That's his league-leading 22nd home run of the season. Orioles on top of the Red Sox here 2-0. They're in the bottom of the 5th inning at Camden Yards. Matt?
All right, thanks, Al. Jason Kipnis doubled in the first, grounded out his last time up. In tight, just missed. Just missed hitting him, I should say.
Well, opposition this year against Gonzalez, first time through, they hit only 170. The Indians were 1 for 9. The second time through, they hit 196. They were 2 for 9. Third time, it goes up to a whopping 259. And he hasn't walked anybody yet with 7 strikeouts.
Three-one pitch. Jason wanted to pull the trigger, just wasn't his pitch, so he lays off, and now a full count. And the payoff pitch is swung on and missed. He's still got plenty of life on that fastball, and that's his 8th strikeout of the night. Let's get the answer to the AT&T trivia question tonight. The only player in Indians history with 2 extra inning home runs in the same game. And the answer is Willie Kirkland, who was acquired from the Giants in exchange for Harvey Keene. Really interesting anecdote or footnote to Willie Kirkland's career. In 1961, he hit 3 home runs in a game against the White Sox. In that same game, he came to bat in the 9th inning with the Tribe down 1 and the tying run, Tito Francona at first base, and was asked to bunt.
There you go.
Bunted the runner over to second base, but after they walked John Romano, Vic Power hit into a double play.
Oh, well, at least he did his job.
But Redburn wondered, he said, how many guys who've hit 3 home runs in a game have been asked to bunt, you suppose?
Well, they wouldn't nowadays. First of all, they wouldn't bunt, period.
He'd say, sorry, I missed the sign.
Yeah, right. He's swinging.
2-2 the count on Swisher.
Isn't that something? You hit 3 home runs your first 3 at-bats, and then you get a guy, hey, game's on the line. Manager wants to win.
Got to move him over. Didn't work out for Jimmy Dykes, who was replaced by Mel Magaha the next year.
Oh, thought you were going to say the next day.
2-2. A little bit low, full count. Swisher awaiting a 3-2 pitch now with 2 down and the bases empty here in the 6th inning. Ball 4. First walk issued by Gonzalez, and it comes with 2 outs here in the 6th inning. Ryan Rayburn last time up. Fastball, gotcha.
Well, the funny thing about it, he got Rayburn on his first at-bat with a fastball that was elevated, but it was in more. This one, he went away with it. Rayburn stayed on it and hit his 3rd home run off Gonzalez in his career, and the only run the Indians have tonight.
Takes down low off speed pitch. That fastball called a strike inside corner, 1-1. Swisher held at first by LaRoche. Popped back out of play.
See, this time trying to stay inside on Rayburn after he gave him a little swinging room in his last at-bat. After the 2-out walk. But, you know, the thing of it is, Rayburn's so good and quick on an inside pitch, you better get it in there because he can turn on it and hit it to left field. He's a good fastball hitter.
The 1-2. He went down and in with a breaking ball. And the count evens. Now the 2-2. Drilled deep left down the line, but it hooks foul.
Yeah, he knew it. That's why you have to keep it in there, and I mean in off the plate. Rayburn loves a fastball, in or away, but let's watch him turn on it. Basically, for him to hit it that hard, he had to hit it foul because Gonzalez put it in there, and it looked like it might have been a little off the plate inside, but Rayburn did what he had to do. Now we'll see if he comes back and throws something off speed down and away.
Breaking ball in the dirt.
That'll make you do it when he turns on that inside heater. Take him off the fastball, show him something else, and he just double checks. Full count? Yes, it is. 3-2. Swisher will be off and running.
All right, so Swisher, who walked on a 3-2 pitch, will be off on the 3-2 pitch to Rayburn. Ball 4, he's walked 2 in a row. So he doesn't walk a batter for the first 5 2/3 innings, and then issues back-to-back free passes here in the 6th. And now Carlos Santana will get a chance to hit.
Well, his last 3 hitters, he's gone to full counts. All right, with Swisher, he tried to throw one in, he walked him. He turned it over, and he hasn't done that a lot of times. That's like his changeup, his change of pace there, down and away. He missed there. So let's check this 3-2 pitch out. You see it's held deep like a changeup. You see where that finger is, and he's going to turn it over just a hair. And it takes off his fastball. It's not like a circle change where it's 10, 12 miles an hour off it. It's about 5 or 6. But it's a turnover pitch.
The key is not leaving it up in the strike zone.
Yeah,
making
you
sure
keep
you
it
get
down.
it down.
And he did. He said, heck with it. I'll just walk it. He knows Rayburn's had success against him in his career.
Now Carlos Santana, an infield single his last time up. Upstairs, ball 1.
You get into a game this time, this late in the game, you don't want to miss or make a mistake. This will be his 100th pitch. It's in the bottom half of the 6th inning. He has 2 outs, but he's walked the last 2 hitters. See if the Indians can take advantage of the walks that Gonzalez has given them, just like the Nats did to Masterson.
Breaking ball, and he drops it in there to even the count at 1-1.
He's had to work this inning.
Yeah. Upstairs, 2 balls and a strike. Up and away, 3-1, and now Gonzalez, for the first time tonight, looks a tad frustrated. Got Mark Reynolds waiting on deck. Santana can keyhole him here and look for his pitch. Fouled right back. Might have been just a tad up in the strike zone.
That's okay. He got the fastball, and Carlos loves the fastball. He let it go. Fouled it straight back. You got it. You can go ahead and chase those balls. Carlos, the way he hits the fastball, he got his pitch. Hitters count.
Everybody moves on the 3-2 pitch to Santana. Ball 4, the bases are loaded. He's walked 3 in a row, and Gonzalez visibly upset. He thought he had strike 3. And now this is the pitching coach coming out. I thought manager Davey Johnson was coming out, but it's Steve McCaddy who's going to come out and talk it over with him.
Well, he goes in there, and he really did show emotion after this pitch. Let's look. That's in off the plate. And watch. Look at his emotion. He wanted that pitch called. He's been around the plate. He struggled this inning. He's got around, 25 pitches in the inning? Steve McCaddy going to come out and look at him straight in the eye, tell him to settle down. He had the first 2 out, and then it's been 4 straight hitters where he's had full counts to. 27 pitches on the inning, 16 of them have been balls.
Davey Johnson, meanwhile, is looking up on the big video board where they're playing highlights of Mark Reynolds' home runs this year, and he doesn't hit any cheapies.
Well, you don't need a home run. You just need a base hit to get that go-ahead run in from third base. He's gift-wrapped an inning, although it is with 2 outs. But all the base runners have walked.
So Reynolds bats with 2 down and the bases full. Mark trying to snap an 0 for 8. And a breaking ball in there for a strike.
Well, he's back to the full windup. You see, he maybe having trouble out of the stretch. But here we go. We talk again. This guy's 2 outs going out of the full windup, not the stretch.
Downstairs. Reynolds 4 for 10 on the year with the bases loaded. Missed again, 2 balls and a strike.
Well, right now he's throwing that pitch inside, and he's doing a little begging. He wants everything called now.
30th pitch of the inning for Gonzalez. And now Reynolds takes aim at a 2-1 delivery. Pop back out of play to even the count.
Got himself a fastball and fouled it off.
Swisher at third, Rayburn at second, Santana at first. Gonzalez battling Reynolds. The 2-2 pitch popped him up. On the infield, Lombardozzi, the second baseman, makes the catch. And the Indians leave them loaded. Through 6, and they're still tied at 1. 18 locations in Northeast Ohio. And by Levin. 1-1 our score, and if you just tuned in late, it's been as good as the numbers would indicate. A great pitcher's duel here tonight at Progressive Field. Let's take a look at the head-to-head matchup and how it's gone. Each starter has gone 6. They've each allowed a run. They've walked about the same number of hitters and struck out almost the same number of hitters.
I'll tell you what, it's been dominated by the pitchers tonight, no question. Right from the outset.
Activity in both bullpens. We'll see how this plays out. Masterson, just over 100 pitches on the night. He started the inning at 101. Gonzalez at 109 after 6. Chad Tracy, swing and a miss. Cody Allen, Rich Hill warming for Cleveland. Grounded right at Kipnis. And he'll throw him out. 1 down. Late innings are brought to you by Captain Morgan Rum. Raise a glass always in moderation. Kurt Suzuki walked and scored the only run of the game for Washington back in the 3rd. Struck out his last time up.
Justin has had a good slider tonight.
Fouled right back.
I mean, think of the hits that he's given up. The first inning hit by Zimmerman was a pitch up, and he lined it to right. That was the hardest one. And Lombardozzi hit one, was a hanging slider up the middle.
Just a seeing eye single, too. It bounced about
it got
times.
Past Masterson, and that was it.
Slowly chopped foul.
I mean, as we've said time and time again, it's tough to center on a pitch from Masterson when it is getting the movement like he has. And when he can control that slider, that's when the strikeouts come. 10 strikeouts tonight. His season high is 11. He had 11 strikeouts against Seattle here back on May 19th. And in his career, 12 strikeouts is his high.
Outside he missed. Each pitcher has struck out at least one batter in every inning.
Yeah.
Masterson struck out 3 straight in the 2nd inning.
Again, we get back to that 0-2, 1-2 counts. Masterson has had 13 of those tonight.
Right back. Suzuki. Well, 1 ball's 2 strike count.
In the inning that they scored back in the 3rd, he had Bernardina down 0-2 and ended up walking him in there to load the bases in that inning. The one time he couldn't take advantage of the 0-2, 1-2.
Bang on the ground to 3rd. Mark Reynolds sets and throws right on the money. 2 away.
Once again, let me remind you, it's going to be the first of 4 replica jersey giveaways that'll take place tomorrow. First 10,000 fans will receive a jersey of Tribe's second baseman Jason Kipnis.
Should be a lot of fun. Steve Lombardozzi, 1 for 2. He's single in the 3rd. We just talked about it. That ball had eyes. Missed outside, 2-0. In the air to left field. Michael Brantley has it. He makes the catch. And Masterson breezes through the 7th. And we stay deadlocked at 1. That's the view from our Panini cam, brought to you by Panini's Bar and Grill. Beautiful night in downtown Cleveland. 1-1 our score. Bottom of the 7th inning coming up. Gio Gonzalez stays in the ball game, though it appears Justin Masterson's night may be over. Looked like he was getting the high fives as he went into the dugout.
Well, Gio is coming into this inning with 109 pitches. 4 times he's been above that. 112, 115, 116, and 114. And he may be in here just for Brantley. You never know. These two guys locked into a really good battle tonight. Been a well-pitched ball game. It's been fun to watch. Both of them with outstanding stuff.
Brantley looks at a strike in the count. 0-2. One ball and 2 strikes. And a little bit outside, 2-2. Bounce towards second base. Lombardozzi gets rid of it quickly. 1 away.
Well, things started to get tight last inning. I mean, he was 3-2 to 4 straight hitters. He just missing in off the plate, 1 away. He wanted that one, but he got the big pitch and the big out when he needed it. That was Reynolds to pop out with the bases loaded. Now Suzuki going out to stall for some time. They're talking to him, and he'll come back. He is at 114, so if he goes 2 more pitches, it'll be his season high, which he definitely will if he's going to face Aviles.
And Aviles bangs one foul third base side.
He said that curveball seemed like he could throw that anytime tonight he wanted to for a strike. Still has very good bite, very tight breaking ball. Well, we told you his numbers against the Indians and in this ballpark coming into it, and I'll tell you what, he hasn't done nothing to to tarnish that whatsoever. He left one fastball up and out over the plate to Ryan Rayburn, and that's the run the Indians have.
That's driven to deep center. Back goes Denard Span, and he'll make the catch basket style. The ball kind of hooked back into his belly. And there are 2 down here in the 7th inning. You could see this look on Span's foot. I wonder, Rick, if this ball might have knuckled at the end on him.
Now, look at, he was going back to make an easy play, and then all of a sudden, he caught it barehanded. He didn't even use the glove. That's what he's laughing at. I think, kids, that's why you use 2 hands. When you get around a ball and you're chasing it down, he caught it barehanded.
Who's that? Kevin Mitchell
that
did that? But no,
when
that was unbelievable.
Well, that was on a running catch in left field over his head. That was Kevin Mitchell, yes. Years ago.
Yeah.
Back in the 80s. It might have been the 90s.
Yeah, I think it was early 90s. Two-0 pitch. .120 pitches now on the night for Gonzalez. He deals. And it's down low to 3-1 for Drew Stubbs now. And a 3-1 pitch. Upstairs, ball 4. And that might be it. Let's see. Davey Johnson mulling it over. He's going to stay with Gonzalez for at least one more hitter. Baseball Night in America returns tomorrow as Ian Desmond and these Nationals will take on Michael Brantley and the Tribe right here at Progressive Field. Baseball Night in America begins tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern, and you can see it locally here in Cleveland on Fox 8. Left-hander getting loose for Washington, Fernando Abad. They had
Storen,
right-hander Drew Storen getting loose.
That was last inning, right, when he was pitching his way through it. They're just stalling for time now to let the lefty get out because they probably want Gio to face Michael Bourne here, and should he reach by any chance, maybe they want Abad to go up against Kipnis.
Oh, here comes the pitching coach again, Steve McCaddy.
Yeah, they're just stalling. Different ways to go about it, but they'll make sure they get enough time to get that guy in the bullpen ready.
Davey Johnson knows a few tricks. He's been managing a long time. At 70 years old, he is the oldest current manager in baseball.
I think, isn't Charlie right behind him?
Charlie Manuel?
Yeah. If Davey's 70, Charlie's, I think, 67.
Johnson's one of only 6 living men now to have won a World Series ring as both a player and a manager. The others are Alvin Dark, Joe Girardi, Lou Piniella, Mike Scioscia, and Red Schoendienst in St. Louis. How about that? Here's the pitch now to Bourne, and he takes a strike. Bourne steps away.
Well, 0-2. Now might be the time to run. Go ahead with Bourne the hitter. Try and steal a base. They may throw over there in this situation, but we've seen Stubbs do it, man. We've seen him where he took off on a left-hander and beat the throw to second base.
Yeah, that's true. Whether you throw over or not, if he just goes on first movement, he might have a chance to beat it no matter what.
Yeah, depending on how quick his move is to first base. We'll see if he throws over there. He should. Yeah. He may throw a couple of times. I don't think that's his A move. But nothing going on. He's down in the count. You got your leadoff hitter. And Gonzalez won't be back next inning, so why not send him?
Bourne fouling it back. Gonzalez sets. There goes the runner, and Bourne fouls it right back.
Yeah, he had it too.
Well, you know, with Gonzalez, he really likes to bring the knee back and almost tuck, where he turns his back just slightly to the hitter. So, I mean, unless he breaks out a little slide step move,
well, he does.
You got a good idea of when he's coming to you.
When he comes to first, he's just real short and quick over there. Nothing with a great move. At least we haven't seen it to this point. Now, whether Drew can read that over there, leading off and trying to steal a base, is a different story.
That was the 50th pitch for Gonzalez in the last inning and 2/3, but he gets out of it and keeps it a 1-1 game through 7. retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cleveland Indians. One our score, 8th inning here at Progressive Field. And the Tribe now goes to the bullpen. And today's Cleveland Clinic call to the bullpen brings up Cody Allen, 27th appearance of the year. 1 win, no losses, ERA 2.25. He has struck out 36 and walked 10 in his 28 innings of work. He's got the top of the order to work against here for Washington.
Well, I got to tell you, the 2 starters in this ball game, I don't think either one of them deserved to lose tonight, and they're not going to. They both battled each other and pitched very well against the opposition. Masterson had 10 strikeouts. Gonzalez had 8. He walked 4. Masterson walked 4. Justin gave up 2 hits. Gonzalez gave up 3.
Fastball swung on and missed. Span couldn't catch up to it. Fouled right back. And the count quickly 0-2. Now the 0-2, a little bit outside, 1 ball, 2 strikes. You see Joe Smith from the right side, Rich Hill from the left. Breaking ball fouled back. Span grounded out on the first. He laid down a sacrifice bunt in the 3rd and then walked, stole a base, but was left at second base in the 5th inning. A little bit high with the heater, 2-2. Struck him out. Cody Allen gets the K, 1 down here in the 8th. As promised earlier, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite. Justin Masterson with 7 innings of work tonight. He struck out 10 Washington Nationals hitters. He gave up just 2 hits.
Yeah, there weren't very many good swings put on against Justin. His stuff all over the place tonight. I mean, it was moving. And a great start from him. Just what they were looking for. Now you got to find a way to score and win this thing.
The last Washington base runner was Denard Span, who just struck out when he walked back in the 5th inning. So that's 9 straight retired. Fastball popped up back behind the plate and out of play. The Indians have had 4 base runners in the last 2 innings, but their last hit came off the bat of Carlos Santana when he singled after Ryan Rayburn homered in the 4th to tie the game. So neither team has been able to generate anything offensively here tonight, save the wild pitch that scored the run for Washington and the solo blast by Ryan Rayburn. Up high, he missed. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Swung on and missed. Bernardina is out. The ball was in the dirt. Santana threw to first to complete the out. 2 down in the 8th.
Good curveball. You can see it short hop Santana. He steps way over to the inside, so he's got a route that he can throw the ball to without the runner interfering. So 2 up, 2 down, both strikeouts for Allen.
Now Ryan Zimmerman, who singled back in the 1st inning, but has struck out each of his last 2 times up. Swung on and missed. Rick, in this day and age where you see more and more hitters crowd the plate, Zimmerman is one guy who stands maybe as far off the dish as anybody you'll see.
You're right. He's off the dish, and he likes to extend his arms. He's a good low ball hitter. He doesn't have to fear anything coming in on him. And you think you can get it out there. He's got a pretty good idea about that strike zone. This guy, he's a good player. His problem has been health. Shoulder issues.
Two and one to count.
You know, we've seen him. How many times you've seen him on the highlight film making plays at third base?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, just a terrific third baseman. But he, out of third base this year, he has 11 errors. And I think a lot of it has become because of the throwing.
There's a high pitch drilled to center, but back is Bourne to make the catch. The Nationals go 1-2-3. Cody Allen picks up where Masterson left off. Bottom of the 8th here at Progressive Field. And today's Cleveland Clinic call to the bullpen. Tyler Clippard coming on for Gio Gonzalez. Tyler has 5 wins already out of the bullpen for Washington.
Yeah, tied for the MLB lead. 5 relief wins. 2.67 ERA. 143 batting average against left-handed hitters. And he's coming on to face Kipnis. and he'll face Swisher and then Rayburn up. So it's up to the bullpens now. Cody Allen came on and did his job through a shutout inning. I'll tell you, the way these guys have pitched tonight, we might be here a while.
Well, the way this game has played out to this point,
yeah,
neither offense has been able to generate much at all. Indians have 3 hits. Kipnis, Swisher, Rayburn. Kipnis has one of the Indians' 3 hits. It was a double back in the first, and of course Rayburn, the home run that came in the 4th. Jason, with that double in the first inning, extended his hitting streak to 8 games. And looks at ball 1 from Tyler Clippard up high. Missed again. Clippard was originally a 9th-round pick of the New York Yankees back in 2003. Came to the Nationals via Oakland for Josh Willingham.
That changeup right there. Yeah, Willingham had that good year in Oakland.
Yeah, I beg your pardon. The page flipped on me. That was Bob
Seger.
Corey Brown was the one that was involved in that trade. Clippard came from New York back in 2007. Kipnis fouls it back out of play. Kipnis, a line drive base hit into right field. And the Indians have their leadoff man aboard here in the 8th inning.
Yeah, I'll tell you one thing. He challenged him with a heater. He wasn't going to walk him, and Kipnis was up for the task. He turned on that heater. Watch this nice quick swing, and Kipnis has been swinging it well lately. But a nice swing on the baseball. Challenged him, and that's what happened. Now the Indians with their leadoff man aboard.
All right, so Nick Swisher, 0 for 2 on the night, walked his last time up. Steps in here. And he checks on a called strike. It is the first time that either team, first time for the Indians that they've had their leadoff man aboard. And the only time that Washington had their leadoff man aboard, they scored. That was in the 3rd when Suzuki walked. 1-1 the count on Swisher. Kipnis has tremendous wheels. He has stolen 14 bases on the year. Up high with it. Amy Johnson looking on as Tyler Clippard has fallen behind Swisher 2-1. And Swisher jammed, but he fights it off and flares it into right field for a base hit. Kipnis will stop at second, and the Indians have their first two on here in the 8th inning. So Nick Swisher snapping an 0 for 8. He just fought it off and blooped it in front of right fielder Jason Worth.
It doesn't matter how hard, just get the job done. Took a big swing, might have been off the end of the bat.
I think you're right.
You know, with that swing, I'm not sure. And you can see Worth trying to decoy Kipnis like he had a chance at catching the ball. Jason was almost 3/4 of the way down there. He felt it was going to drop, and it did.
The pitch to Ryan Rayburn. He tries to bunt, and it's back over the screen. Well, we just talked earlier about.
Well, maybe he did that on his own because Brad Mills is going down there talking to him now. Now, whether the sign was given, I don't know, but that's a pitch up in the zone. That's what you want to throw a guy that's going to bunt, especially a guy that doesn't bunt, and he's hitting fourth in your lineup.
Well, we just talked earlier about Willie Kirkland, who had 3 home runs and then bunted. Well, in the 9th inning.
Yeah, game's on the line now. Now, I'm not sure what happened there. If Francona put it on or he did it on his own, we'll see on this pitch.
He's swinging. It's 0-2.
I think on his own, he wanted to try and get the runners over. But he throws him a devastating changeup here, coming back on the next one after the high fastball. So now Ryan's got to regroup and try and stay on it and maybe take it the other way.
Carlos Santana waiting in the wings. Clippard, the 0-2 to Rayburn. Low and away. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Swung out and missed. He struck him out. 1 down here in the 8th. So that's going to bring up Carlos Santana as you take another look at the fastball.
They just went at him down and in. That's a good fastball hitter, but the old equalizer, he swung at the pitch before that changeup. Boy, and that makes that fastball that much better, and he can get it up there about 93.
Now Carlos Santana. He has struck out, singled, and walked tonight. And Carlos takes a fastball for strike 1. Jason Kipnis, the go-ahead run at second base. Nick Swisher is down at first. Santana swinging for the downs. It's 0-2. Two on, 1 out. Santana down in an 0-2 hole. Lifted in the air over near the line. Bernardina can't get to it, and it will drop foul. So the count remains no balls and 2 strikes. Santana has been a .319 hitter on the year with runners in scoring position. Back-to-back singles to open this 8th inning for the Tribe after they had amassed a grand total of 3 hits through the first 7 innings. And the 0-2 is blooped foul. Look out. The seats are right there and running into the sidewall. Chad Tracy didn't make the catch, and luckily for him, you've got some padding over there along that sidewall.
Yeah, but you see that ball and you think you can catch it. In this situation, you're going to go for it, and this is a park that he's not familiar with. He sensed you're getting close. But you're right. Look at the padding on there, and he went as hard as he could, as long as he could before he had to hold up.
Meanwhile, Santana continues to battle here, down on the count 0-2. Oh, man, I don't know how he caught that. I thought for sure it was going to the backstop, and Suzuki came up out of his crouch and snared it.
You talk about saving a couple of bases. Watch this. I mean, you're right. That almost pulled his arm out of socket. But that fastball, I think he tried to hump up and get a little extra on it. And
see how it jerked the glove backwards?
That was a terrific save.
Almost took his hand off. Kipnis takes off. Santana drills it foul down the line and out of play.
Yeah, you got to keep your eye on those guys. They've been watching this stretch for a while. He's a good base stealer, so Santana finally got a changeup. It was upstairs, but way out in front. He can throw that pitch about 13 miles per hour off his fastball.
Up and in with it. And the count evens 2-2. So Tyler Clippard having a tough time putting Santana away as some of Carlos's hair has begun to sprout from his batting helmet.
The chia pet. Got to water it.
2 on, 1 out. Tied at 1, bottom of the 8th. 2-2 pitch to Santana. Inside a full count. Mark Reynolds waits on deck. Time called as Suzuki goes out. Desmond comes in from the shortstop position. And this crowd of better than 30,000 getting up out of their seats, trying to make some noise. It's been a pitching-dominated game to this point. Justin Masterson, fantastic, striking out 10. Gio Gonzalez for Washington struck out 8. It's in the hands of the bullpens now. And the Indians have 2 on with 1 out and a 3-2 count on Carlos Santana as this crowd senses a critical moment in this ball game. The payoff pitch. High ball 4. The bases are loaded.
What an at-bat by Santana. That was, he had to work hard to get first base. I mean, fouled off some tough pitches, took a couple of tough pitches, and ends up drawing the walk. Now it moves everybody up. You've got the bases loaded.
Mark Reynolds is 0 for 3 tonight. He has struck out twice. Reynolds popped up on the infield with the bases loaded and 2 outs to end the 6th inning. He bats now with the bases loaded and 1 out here in the 8th.
Now, remember in that Santana at-bat, he was down 0-2 in the count, and he had 9 pitches. What a great at-bat.
Reynolds a swing and a miss. Swung on and missed again, 0-2. With Jason Kipnis at third base, a fly ball to the outfield should be good enough. The 2-strike pitch. He struck him out on 3 pitches, and there are 2 down now here in the 8th inning.
Well, he didn't mess around, man. He came at him with 3 straight heaters, and Reynolds swung through them all.
Tonight's box score is brought to you by your Northern Ohio Hyundai dealers. 2 of the Indians' hits tonight have come in this 8th inning. The solo homer by Rayburn accounting for the Tribe's lone run. But one more chance here in the 8th now for Michael Brantley, who is 0 for 3 on the night. But Brantley has been so very good in these types of situations. Brantley hitting .360 on the year with runners in scoring position. He hasn't batted with a single soul on base in his first 3 tries here tonight.
I told you, he's tough on left-handers. A .143 batting average coming in.
Line drive center field. Span races in, makes the catch, and the inning is over. The Indians leave them loaded and will go to the 9th tied at 1. Inning. Stay tuned for Indians Live following the ballgame, brought to you by Conrad's Tire Express and Total Car Care. We'll have the highlights, analysis, reaction from the clubhouse. It's all coming up next. Now on to pitch for the Indians is the right-hander Joe Smith. On for the 26th time this year, 2-0, 1.21 ERA. He has struck out 25, walked just 8 in his 22 1/3 innings. He's got Adam LaRoche, Jason Worth, and Ian Desmond due up for the Nationals. Boy, a golden opportunity for the Tribe there in the 8th inning with the bases loaded and only 1 out, but they can't get the run home. So twice now tonight the Indians have left the bases loaded. The Nationals offensively tonight have not had a base runner since the 5th inning. A strike to LaRoche. Indians pitching has set down 11 straight Washington batters. LaRoche, pair of strikeouts on the night. Right back to Smith. And Joe throws him out, 1 down. Well, Tyler Clippard, bases loaded situation. I mean, he just reared back through fastballs and he threw them by Reynolds. Brantley hit it hard, but Span with good wheels, and he got a great break on that, Rick.
Yeah,
I mean, he was sprinting straight in the minute the ball left the bat.
Yeah, he had a very good jump. He can go get him in center field.
Jason Worth 0 for 3 on the night. I mean, even if you reverse the at-bats and say Brantley hits that ball with 1 out, I'm not so sure that Kipnis would have been able to score if that would have been a fly ball with 1 out.
No, I know. He probably, who knows, but he would have been trying.
Probably would have been, you're right. Worth down on the count 0-2. Upstairs with it. Even up, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Hit hard, but foul. It's the only thing he could do with it. Ball was inside. Hit that gentleman. Like caught him right square in the chest. Hopefully he's all right. Get him an ice pack.
Well, he give him the baseball.
Outside, he missed. Full count. So from 0-2 to 3-2. Swung on and missed. Oh, he waved at an off-speed pitch. Terrific job by Joe Smith. 2 down in the inning.
Come back, full count. Let's go with that slider. You can see how far out in front that Worth was. That is a strikeout for Smith. 13 strikeouts today by Indians pitching. 10 by Masterson, a couple by Allen, and 1 right there by Joe Smith.
And now Ian Desmond 0 for 2 on the night. 2 strikeouts and a walk. Routine play for Mike Aviles. And the Nationals go 1-2-3. And we'll go to the bottom of the 9th. Tied at 1. Indians Live comes your way following the ball game. Brought to you by Conrad's Tire Express and Total Car Care. We've got the highlights and a whole lot more right after this game comes to its conclusion. Indians will bat in the bottom of the 9th against Fernando Abad. 11th appearance on the year, and you can see there in 8 2/3 innings he has struck out 9 and has not allowed a run. For the Tribe, Mike Aviles, Drew Stubbs, and Michael Bourne due up.
Indians looking for their 6th walk-off here this year. What a night to do it. Fireworks to follow. Start them early.
Aviles has struck out, grounded out, flied out. Out of play to the right. 0-2 the count. And he missed outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Aviles with a liner to center, but it's right at Denard Span, 1 down. So that's 2 straight Indians hitters that have hit it right on the nose and right at Denard Span. Well, with 1 home run hit in tonight's game, a total of $12,000 was raised for prostate cancer research. To make a donation, you can go online to homerunchallenge.org. Down low. Abad is one of those guys that I'm sure folks who follow the Houston Astros are saying, is that the same guy that pitched for the Astros? Because last year in 37 games he was 0-6 with an ERA of over 5. The year before he was 1-4 with an ERA of over 7.
Wow.
Line drive, right field, base hit. And Drew Stubbs is aboard with the winning run with 1 out here in the bottom of the 9th.
Well, he went down and in and dug out a heater and went inside out to right field. Good job by Drew Stubbs. He'll be carrying the mail. Trying to deliver.
It's a good guy to have on when it's the winning run.
No kidding. With his speed, you're absolutely right.
Now you got to hope Michael Bourne can find a hole somewhere. He's 0 for 4 on the night. Outside, ball 1. There goes Stubbs. Bourne hits it in the hole, a base hit. Stubbs can go to third, and he will. Oh, how sweet it is with Bourne at the plate and Stubbs running. The second baseman vacated the cover, and all Bourne had to do was put it in play, and it was an easy base hit to right field.
Oh, well done. This is going to be our McDonald's. I'm loving it. Stubbs took off. Bourne hits it. He jams himself, but watch the second baseman's covering. Vacates. I think it might have been a base hit anyway, but, I mean, it was well planned, well timed out. Good job to go first and third with 1 out, and the winning run 90 feet away.
Jason Kipnis will be the batter. And why not? He's been one of the more consistent performers of late. 2 hits tonight. An 8-game hitting streak now. And a chance to win it here. Bourne takes off, and he'll go in easily. And give Bourne his 10th stolen base on the year. So now with no chance to turn two, the Nationals bring the infield in. They bring the outfield in. Low and away, 2-0.
And they don't intentionally walk him here because you go left on left and try and make your nasty pitch. And if you happen to walk him, then you do. And then you're going to give Swisher an opportunity with bases loaded. But they're going to go right at him here with their best stuff.
Now the 2-0. Breaking ball and a good one. It's in there for a strike. 2-1 to count. It's Fernando Abad or bust. Right now for Washington, the bullpen is quiet.
You know, he has that open base to work with. That's why you see the 2-0 breaking ball. He can go out and try and make perfect pitches here.
Inside, 3-1.
Kipnis here, see if he adjusts maybe and looks for that breaking ball on the 3-1 pitch. It's hard to do when you're a hitter and you're looking for a ball to get that guy in from third base. But he's been swinging the bat well.
3-1. Popped him up. Foul. Back to the screen. Out of play. And so now a 3-ball, 2-strike count for Jason Kipnis. Nick Swisher waits on deck. First base open. Infield in. Outfield drawn in as well. Payoff pitch. Hit the first. Throw home. Slide. Safe. The Indians win it. Jason Kipnis drives home the game winner as Drew Stubbs racing home from third with the game winner. And the Indians have won their third straight as they take the series opener from the Washington Nationals by a final score of 2-1.
Well, we said you had the best runner on base you could have. What a good play by LaRoche. But by the time they come back and tag him, Stubbs' speed, he gets his foot on the plate. And that'll be Jason Kipnis with a nice at-bat. A close play at home play, but the Indians come back and win it 2-1, their sixth walk-off.
Well, a dramatic finish to open this homestand tonight here at Progressive Field in front of a crowd of better than 30,000. The Indians win it in walk-off fashion. And it's time now for our key play of the game, brought to you by KeyBank.
Well, let's just go look at that same thing that took place. A breaking ball 3-2, a beautiful play by LaRoche. He slings it into home plate from his knees. The speed of Stubbs scores. And I'll tell you, the Indians win it right there on speed. They come back, a couple of hits in the inning. Well done by the Indians. And that KeyBank play brought to you by KeyBank, proud to be the banking home of the Cleveland Indians.
What a start to the homestand. The Indians a winner 2-1. We'll come back and talk all about it next on Indians Live.